Don't answer the words. Alleged confession of Nick Russell, park ranger from Boulder, Colorado. You ever carry something around for so long that it stops feeling like a memory and starts feeling like a shadow? Yeah, that's what this is for me. Emma says I need to let it go, that talking about it only feeds it. But I can't keep it in anymore. I can't keep pretending I'm fine when every quiet night feels like I'm back there again. So I'm just gonna tell it. You're the first person outside of my family I've ever told. So bear with me if I stumble. Last winter, late January, I took a few days off. I'd been working back-to-back shifts with the ranger service in Boulder. Long hikes, rescue calls, one lost hiker after another. You know how it gets. By the time you sit down at home, your brain's still out there in the snow. Emma told me to take a break, take the kids to her sister's in Wisconsin. She figured maybe the change of scenery would do me good. We packed the truck, the whole drive from Colorado to Waukesha, and for the first time in months, I felt like maybe I could breathe. A few days in, her brother Derek and our friend Maya asked if I wanted to check out Kettle Moraine State Forest. You ever seen that place in winter? It's surreal. Huge, rolling ridges and kettle-shaped valleys, frozen lakes like mirrors, and this silence that feels like the whole forest is holding its breath. We weren't planning anything serious, just a light hike, maybe lunch by one of the lakes. I wasn't even wearing my uniform, just jeans, boots, my ranger pack out of habit. Inside I had a small first aid kit, a flare gun, some tinder, and a can of bear spray. Derek had a shotgun in his case. Just for coyotes, he said. Maya brought her camera. It was one of those rare sunny winter days, the kind where the snow is so bright it stings your eyes. The air was crisp, dry, quiet. We parked off a service road near Holy Hill. The church spires way in the distance, cutting through the blue sky like something out of a painting. From the first few steps, I felt calm. You know, that kind of quiet that makes you feel small but peaceful? That's how it was. The snow squeaked under our boots. The air smelled clean, and the trees were black bones against all that white. We followed a narrow trail that curved around a frozen kettle lake, maybe a mile in. We saw deer prints everywhere, neat and symmetrical, pressed deep in the crust. I pointed them out, made some half-baked ranger comment about how they were probably heading to water before the freeze. Then we reached a low ridge, and that's where I saw it. A set of prints, cloven like deer, yeah, but wrong. The depth was off, way too deep, like something heavy had walked there. And the stride? It wasn't consistent. Some prints were 4 feet apart, then a cluster of smaller ones, like it dropped to all fours, then back to 2. Derek squatted next to them and said, "Big buck." But his voice had that edge people get when they're saying what they wish were true. I didn't answer, just took a picture on my phone. Still got it, though I don't show it around. It looks like a joke until you're the one standing there, feeling the silence tighten around you. We walked another 10 minutes, maybe less, when we heard it. 3 knocks. Wood against wood, clear, hollow, deliberate. We all stopped. It echoed, not loud but sharp enough that you felt it in your chest. Then after a few seconds, 2 knocks, answered it from somewhere deeper in the forest. Derek looked at me. Woodpeckers? I just shook my head. Woodpeckers don't pause that long between hits. They don't communicate like that. That's when I noticed the smell. It wasn't rot, not animal stink. It was metallic, like pennies, like blood. Maya whispered, "Nick, do you hear that?" And I did. Something faint, a sound that didn't belong. Then a voice, soft, familiar. "Nick." It was Emma's voice. I turned instantly. It was so real I expected to see her standing there. But the trail was empty, just trees and light. I froze. My first thought was, I'm hearing things, maybe wind, maybe echo. But then it came again. "Nick." Same tone, same warmth, from deeper between the trees. My heart started pounding. "Emma?" I called back before I could stop myself. Derek frowned. "Nick, what are you doing?" I didn't answer. I just stared into the trees, every instinct I had screaming to move. Then we heard something heavy move, not fast, just shifting weight, breaking crusted snow. And then it said my name again, but this time it was my father's voice. "You remember my dad, right? The low, steady way he talked?" Yeah, it was him. He's been gone 5 years, and I swear to God it was him. "Nicky," he said, just like he used to when he thought I'd broken something. My blood went cold. You ever feel the air around you change, like pressure dropping before a storm? That's what it was like. I could feel my skin prickle, like something behind me had just taken a deep breath. "We're heading back," I said. "Now." We turned again. The sun had shifted. Shadows were longer, thinner. Every few seconds, there'd be a knock somewhere, left, right, behind. The forest felt alive, but in a bad way, like it was waiting for something to happen. We walked fast, but not running. You never run in woods when you don't understand what's watching you. Then Derek said quietly, "Nick, look." Across the frozen lake, standing between two trees on the far edge, there it was. At first it looked like a person, big, broad, tall, but the shape was wrong. Shoulders too wide, arms too long. And when it turned slightly, I saw them. Horns. Not like deer antlers, curved back like a goat's, uneven, thick. I don't even remember drawing breath. It was tall. I'd guess 7 feet, maybe more. The skin or fur, whatever it was, looked patchy, dark gray or brown, with parts of pale flesh showing underneath. The legs were bent wrong. It stood there perfectly still, watching us. Then, in Emma's exact voice again, "Nick, come here." That's when my knees went weak. It wasn't shouting, it wasn't growling. It was gentle, like someone calling a dog home. We didn't say a word, we just started backing away. I kept my eyes on it the whole time. It didn't move, just tilted its head, slow, curious. Then it dropped, all at once, onto all fours. The way it did it, no animal moves like that. The joints didn't bend right. It was like watching a puppet being yanked by invisible strings. "Don't run," I told them, and we didn't. But it started following, not charging, just pacing us. We could hear it through the trees, snow crunching, branches snapping. It was circling. We reached the last curve before the road when the air changed again. That same metallic smell, thicker now, almost sweet. I looked left and the woods went quiet. That's when it hit. It came out of nowhere, a blur of horns and muscle. It slammed into me, claws tearing across my ribs. I hit the ground hard, air gone from my lungs. My first thought wasn't pain, it was, that thing is real. I looked up at it from the snow. Its face was right there. It looked part man, part goat, part something else entirely. Its eyes weren't animal. They were focused, intelligent. There was anger in them, but also curiosity. Maya screamed, threw her metal water bottle. It smacked its shoulder. Derek fired a flare gun, a bright explosion of light and smoke. The creature stumbled back, the light reflecting off its eyes like glass. It made this sound, half growl, half human cry, and pulled away. I got to my feet, bear spray in hand, and emptied it toward the tree line. The cloud hung in the air, orange and sharp. The thing coughed or maybe laughed, I can't tell you which, and disappeared into the trees. We ran. I don't even remember unlocking the truck, just doors slamming, tires spinning. When I looked back, I swear this is true, it was standing at the tree line, watching us leave. Back in town, I didn't tell the local ranger what we saw, just said a big animal attacked me. He nodded, said he'd checked the area, but I saw in his face when I mentioned the voice, he didn't write that part down. That night, Emma saw the scratches, 3 lines across my ribs, clean, deep. She went white as a sheet. I told her a branch did it. She didn't buy it, but she didn't push. We stayed another day, then drove home. I tried to act normal for the kids, but the weird thing is, the scratches healed too fast, within a week. They were just pale scars. No scabbing, no swelling, just gone. You know what's worse than seeing it? Knowing it didn't finish what it started. Because sometimes when the house is quiet at night and Emma's asleep, I'll hear someone outside say my name. Soft, gentle, just like before. Nick. Sometimes it sounds like Emma. Sometimes it sounds like my dad. Sometimes it sounds like me. I've gone outside, flashlight in hand, half expecting to find someone standing by the fence. But there's never anyone there. Just the yard, the dark, and that metallic smell. Faint, but there. I started keeping the bear spray near the bed. I tell Emma it's because of coyotes. Truth is, I don't even think that would help if it came back. I keep replaying that moment in the woods, the way it mimicked, the way it looked at us like it was learning. You ever think about how predators test their prey? How they get close first, study your reactions, then decide if you're worth the chase? That's what it felt like. Like it wasn't trying to kill us. It was studying us, listening, learning. Derek won't talk about it. Maya moved to Arizona. She deleted all her photos from that trip. Won't even answer my messages now. Me? I still wake up some nights, sweating, hearing knocks. Once, just once, I swear I saw a shadow in the backyard. 2 points like horns, catching the porch light. Then gone. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe my mind's breaking its own rules. But every time the wind moves through the trees, and it almost sounds like a voice, I freeze. Because I keep thinking, what if it remembers my name? What if it's still out there, waiting for me to answer? So if you ever find yourself hiking near Kettle Moraine, and you hear someone you love calling your name from the woods, don't listen, don't even look. Because once you look, once you respond, it knows you, and it doesn't forget. It followed me home. Second part of the alleged confession of Nick Russell, park ranger from Boulder, Colorado. You remember when I told you I left that thing in Wisconsin? I thought distance was enough. Turns out it doesn't care about distance. It's been, what, almost 6 months now? Yeah, long enough that people stop asking how your scars are healing. Long enough for the nightmares to become part of the routine. I told you before, the scratches healed too fast. Didn't even scab right, just sealed over like old paper cuts. 3 pale lines. I used to run my thumb across them in the shower, tell myself it was nothing, that it was just my head holding on to what happened out there. But around late spring, May, I think I started noticing things. It began small. Knocks. You ever have that moment at home, late at night, when the whole house creaks, and your brain tries to file it under wind or pipes? That's what it sounded like at first. A single knock on the side of the house, then silence. Then an hour later, another one, always in threes. I didn't tell Emma right away. She'd been trying to forget what happened. Told me it was probably some sick animal and that clawed me. She didn't want to believe in anything else. I didn't either. But one night, I was sitting out back, just staring at the tree line. The moon was out, bright enough to turn everything silver. The kids were asleep. Emma was reading inside. And I heard my name. Nick. Just like that. Soft, calm, close. It wasn't Emma's voice this time. It was mine. I froze. My own voice, from the trees, saying my name, like I was calling myself. I stood up, slowly, flashlight in hand. The beam cut across the yard. Nothing but our fence, the swing set, the old oak by the back gate. But the second I moved toward the fence, there was this smell. That same metallic scent. Rust, pennies, blood. I called out, "Who's there?" because I couldn't stand the silence. Nothing. Not even a breeze. Then right before I turned back to the house, there was a sound. A low, drawn-out bleat, like a goat. But not a real one. Deeper, human almost. And right after, something brushed the fence hard enough to rattle it. I went back inside. Didn't sleep that night. A few days later, Emma mentioned that Noah, our oldest, had been hearing Dad calling him from the yard after dark. He's only 8. He said it so casually. "Daddy, you called me last night, but then you weren't there." I asked him what he meant. He said he was in his room, the window cracked open, and he heard my voice from outside saying, "Hey buddy, come out here a sec." He said he got up, went to the window, looked out, and nobody was there. My stomach dropped. I didn't let him see the fear on my face, but I asked him if he could tell which direction it came from. He pointed toward the back fence. Same spot. After that I nailed the window shut, told him to sleep with the blinds closed. But the thing about fear is, it doesn't need an open window to get in. You know those little details that don't mean anything until they all pile up? Like the porch light flickering only after dark, the dog next door barking at our yard every night at 2 a.m., or the way the woods behind our house feel too quiet lately, like the birds avoid them. I started walking the property every night with my flashlight at my sidearm, just to make sure nothing was out there. Every time I did, I'd feel this presence, like eyes on me. Then one night I caught something in the light. It was standing just beyond the fence. At first I thought it was a deer. Tall, thin, but then it moved closer. I saw shoulders, arms, and horns. Not big, curling horns like before. Smaller, broken looking, one longer than the other. The face was wrong, half shadow, half light. But what I saw of it was smiling. Not in a human way, not even in a predatory way. It looked like it was trying to mimic a smile. My knees went weak. I raised the flashlight and, just like that, It was gone. No sound, no movement, just gone. I didn't tell Emma that part. What could I say? Hey, remember that creature that almost killed me in Wisconsin? I think it found where we live. She'd pack the kids and leave. So I kept it to myself. But then came the voices again. Different ones, this time. One night it was my father's voice saying, Nicky, come out here, son. Another night my mother's, who lives 2 states away. Then my own voice again, whispering things I can't repeat. It's always near the fence, always between 2 and 3 in the morning. The worst one, the one that really broke me, happened last month. It was around 3:15 a.m. I woke up to scratching sounds, slow, deliberate, right outside our bedroom wall. I got up, grabbed my flashlight and stepped quietly into the yard through the back door. The air was dead still, no wind, no sound, just that metallic smell. I scanned the yard. Nothing. Then I noticed something on the fence. Symbols. Carved into the wood. 3 intersecting triangles. Messy but deep. Like claw marks arranged in a pattern. The same pattern from the scars on my ribs. I backed away slowly, every instinct screaming to get inside. Then I heard it. My son's voice. Dad? I turned so fast I almost dropped the flashlight. But Noah was in bed. The voice came from outside the fence. Dad? Are you out there? Then again, softer, closer. Come see what I found. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I just stood there, breathing through my teeth, trying not to make a sound. And that's when I saw the hand. It reached up, slow and deliberate, over the top of the fence. Long fingers, wrong joints, skin that looked stretched too thin. It rested there for a few seconds, tapping the wood, almost testing. Then it pulled back. The next morning, there were hoof prints in the mud, cloven, deep. The fence had fresh gouges in it, 3 parallel lines. I took pictures this time, didn't show Emma, just deleted them later that night, because seeing them again made me shake. You ever feel like you brought something home from somewhere you never should have been? Like a smell that won't wash off, or a sound that sticks to you? That's what it feels like. I think it learned my voice in those woods. I think it can hear it. And maybe it doesn't just live in the forest. Maybe it lives in you once it knows your sound. I don't go out at night anymore. I close every curtain before dark. I keep a flare gun by the bed. And I told Noah, if he ever hears me calling from outside again, no matter what, he stays inside. You know what haunts me most? It's not the face, not even the voice. It's that last look it gave me through the fence, like it recognized me, like it remembered the flare, the spray, the fear. And it wasn't angry, it looked amused, like it was saying, you can't run far enough. Last week I found something by the oak tree in our backyard. A feather, a black one, big, oily, wrong for this area. Next to it, 3 small stones stacked in a triangle, and in the middle, a patch of dirt that smelled faintly like rust. I burned it, didn't even think, just poured lighter fluid and set it on fire. The flames burned blue, not orange. Blue. That night the knocking stopped. For a few days it was quiet. Then 2 nights ago I was sitting in bed, half asleep, when I heard Noah whisper, Dad. I turned to him. He was fast asleep. But the whisper came again, from outside. Soft, gentle, familiar. Dad, come see what I found. You know, I used to think these stories were just folklore. Goatman, Wendigo, Dogman, names people make up for the dark. But sometimes, man, the dark makes up its own names. Whatever that thing is, it's not just a creature, it's something older, something that listens, something that wants to be you. So if you ever hear a voice calling your name at night, and it sounds just right, just comforting enough to make you look, don't. Because if you answer, you invite it in. It still knows where I live. The last night. This is the final recording of the alleged recollection of Park Ranger Nick Russell from Boulder, Colorado. Hey, it's me again. If you're hearing this, it means I finally gave in and hit record. Figured if anything happens, at least there will be proof that I tried to explain. I know how it sounds. I know I sound tired. I am. It's been 9 months since Kettle Moraine. 9 months of pretending life went back to normal. But the truth is, it never did. Things quieted down for a while after I burned that symbol in the backyard. The knocks stopped, the voices too. For a few weeks, I thought maybe it was over, that maybe whatever it was had finally lost interest. But last night proved me wrong. Emma took the kids to her sister's again for the week. School break, easier that way. I stayed behind, work's been busy. The mountains don't care about your personal nightmares. Around midnight, I was sitting at the kitchen table, sorting through paperwork when I heard the back gate creak. Not the wind, an actual, steady creak. Then the latch clicked. I froze. The house was dark except for the lamp over the sink. I turned it off and just listened. At first, nothing. Then, the same sound I heard in Wisconsin. That faint rhythmic knocking. 3 slow beats. Then silence. Then 3 more, closer this time, against the siding of the house. My heart was thudding so hard I could feel it in my ears. I grabbed the flare gun from the drawer. Didn't bother with the lights. I opened the back door and stepped out. The night was quiet, clear, moon half full. You could see the frost glowing on the grass. For a moment I thought maybe it was an animal. Raccoons, maybe a deer, brushing the fence. But then I smelled it. That same metallic bloody tang. And I knew. It was standing by the oak tree, the same place where I found those stones months ago. It looked different this time, thinner, darker, like it had been wearing the forest. The horns were uneven, one broken, the other slick with frost. And the eyes? The eyes were bright red this time, not glowing, reflecting, watching. I raised my flare gun, aimed it dead center. My hands were shaking. And then it spoke. Not my wife's voice, not my dad's. Mine, word for word. Don't. You'll only make it worse. The sound of my own voice coming from that thing. I can't explain how wrong that feels. I fired anyway. The flare hit the ground in front of it, bursting into white light and smoke. The thing didn't move at first, just stood there, lit up like a statue carved from night. Then it stepped backwards into the smoke and was gone. I thought it was over, but then I heard footsteps, not outside, but inside, upstairs. I ran inside, gun still hot, heart trying to tear out of my chest. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, across the landing down the hall, toward Noah's room. I shouted, "Who's there?" and charged up the stairs. Halfway up I realized what I was hearing wasn't footsteps. It was knocking inside the walls 3 times, then silence. I kicked Noah's door open, empty. A room cold as ice, window open. The curtains were swaying, and from outside came this whisper. "Dad, come see what I found." My blood went cold. That voice, it was perfect. I ran to the window, slammed it shut, locked it, then pressed my back to the wall and just listened. There was movement in the yard again. Something dragging, heavy, scraping against the ground. Then, the bleating, low, guttural, like a goat's cry pushed through a human throat. And underneath it, something worse. My voice, whispering words I couldn't quite catch. I wanted to run. Every part of me screamed too, but I didn't. I went downstairs instead, grabbed a second flare from the drawer and lit it inside the kitchen. The red light filled the room like blood in water. Through the window I could see the yard, empty until it wasn't. It stepped into view, half hidden by the tree, and in its hand, if you can call it that, it was holding something small. A toy. Noah's toy truck. I hadn't seen it in months. It placed it gently on the ground, then it looked straight at me through the glass and smiled. Not mockery, not rage. Recognition. Like it had been waiting for me to finally understand. You know, I used to laugh at the stories. Goatman of Maryland, Goatman of Wisconsin, campfire nonsense. But it's not the place that matters, it's the name. You say it, you hear it, you give it shape. And once you give it your attention, it knows you. It doesn't live in your woods. The woods are just where it waits. It lives in memory, in sound, in imitation, and I think I gave it exactly what it wanted. I don't think it's going to stop. It's not after me anymore. It wants the voices inside this house. Emma, the kids. I can't let that happen. So I'm going to finish this. I don't know how yet, but I'm done running. If you find this, don't come here. Don't look for me. Don't come near this house. And if you ever hear something outside calling your name, even if it sounds exactly right, even if it's someone you love, don't answer. It's here again. Wish me luck, brother. Come see what I found. End of recording. I waited 3 days before I drove out to Boulder. 3 days of calling, texting, sending voice notes, waiting for Nick to reply. Nothing. He'd gone silent before. He was that kind of man. Sometimes when things got too heavy, he'd shut down, disappear for a day or two, but never this long. Not after what he told me last time. He'd send me a voice message that night before he went quiet. I didn't listen to it right away. When I finally did, it was just noise, static, wind, and something that sounded like knocking. I thought he'd pocket dialed me. Then I realized the file was titled, "If Something Happens." I got to his house just before sunset. Boulder was calm, the air sharp with early autumn. The mountains to the west looked bruised under the clouds. Nick's truck was in the driveway. The porch light was off. His house sat at the edge of a small cul-de-sac, backing onto a strip of woods. I remember thinking how normal it looked. White siding, a few toys scattered in the yard, a tire swing still tied to the oak. But the quiet didn't feel right. I rang the bell. No answer. Knocked. Nothing. So I walked around back. The yard was just like it described. Fence lined with trees, the grass dry and flattened in strange spots. as if something heavy had pressed it down. The back gate hung open. That's when I smelled it. Faint, metallic, like a coin between your teeth. I stepped onto the porch and saw the kitchen light glowing through the window. The door was unlocked. Inside, the air was cold. No heater running, no sounds, nothing. His coffee mug was still on the table, half full. Paper scattered, ranger forms, maps, a notebook with a pen still uncapped. And his phone, screen cracked, battery dead. I plugged it in. When it powered up, there was one saved voice memo, timestamped 2 nights ago, the one you already heard the last night. It took me a minute to press play. I stood there in that silent kitchen, listening to my friend's voice tell me goodbye. Every few seconds, I caught noises in the background, a scrape, a breath, a knock. Then at the end, that whisper, "Come see what I found." When the recording finished, I realized the sound wasn't just on the tape. It was happening in the house. 3 slow knocks from upstairs. I didn't move for a long time, just listened. Then something creaked above me, like weight shifting on old floorboards. I called out, "Nick?" Nothing. The air felt heavy. You know that strange stillness before thunder? That's what it was like. My skin prickled. The smell of rust got stronger. I should have left then. I know that now. But I went upstairs. The hallway was dark. Only the light from the phone screen guided me. The first door on the left was Noah's room. I remembered what Nick said, that the window had opened on its own. The window was open again, curtains swaying, cold air pouring in. I walked closer. The wood around the frame had deep scratches in it, long, thin grooves, like something had tried to pry its way in. Then I saw the toy on the floor, a small red truck, muddy and cracked, sitting in the middle of the carpet. I bent down, picked it up. It was warm. That's when I heard it, a whisper from outside, soft, clear, like someone standing in the yard. "Hey buddy, come out here a sec." It wasn't Nick's voice. It wasn't a stranger's voice. It was mine. Every part of me went cold. I dropped the toy and backed away from the window. Didn't look out, didn't need to, because right then, from the trees, something knocked. 3 slow, heavy hits. The lights flickered. The smell of blood filled the air. I turned, bolted down the stairs and out of the front door. Didn't stop until I was halfway down the street. The police went in later that night. They found no sign of Nick or anyone else. His truck was still there, his clothes, his wallet, no forced entry. But they said something strange. The backyard soil was disturbed, as if something had been dug up, and the oak tree near the fence had marks burned into it, like small triangles overlapping, charred into the bark. They ruled it a disappearance, filed it away. I never told them about the tape. I deleted it, or I thought I did, because sometimes late at night, when my phone's on the nightstand and the room's quiet, I'll hear it play by itself. Just that last line, "Come see what I found." And every time I hear it, I swear there's a knock somewhere near the wall. 3 times, slow, patient. If you're listening to this now, if somehow this story finds you, I'm begging you, don't go to Boulder. Don't go near Kettle Moraine. Don't even say its name out loud, because once it knows your voice, it never lets go.